To Logical, Plausible, Probable pre-debate show. Tonight we're gonna have a doozy over on SFT. You've got Dr. Kevin Anderson taking on the one and only Jackson Wheat. Should be interesting, to say the least. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this one ends up going down. If there's any good back and forths, any mano y mano challenges. Not really sure what's going to happen. Should be a fun one though. I haven't seen Jackson Wheat come out from behind his daddy RJ Downard's cave in a while, so it'll be interesting to see if he brings any new arguments. And obviously, since we're going to have a PhD geneticist coming on SFT to take him on, should be definitely be an interesting one. To say the least. So if you have not already found out about this debate and know that's going down, check in the description. I've got a link over to SFT's channel directly to the debate. Take you 2 seconds. Go over there and set a notification. That's kicking off in 50 minutes. So it should be starting at 7:30 Central Time, 8:30 Eastern. They'll be getting things rocking and rolling. And it definitely will be an interesting, should be an interesting one, to say the least. But few things going on my side of the equation. So I've got a few folks who are trying to get me to come do debates with them, and I've got who is it? Dr. Dan Cardinal is he's wanting a piece of me, and Erica wants to have a round two. Not really sure what the topics would be exactly. Erica's wanting to re-debate coding, and she and I kind of just debated abiogenesis. So I'm like, hey, I'm happy to do another debate with you, but I'd prefer to have a different topic like structural biology, and whether it's better explained by evolution or intelligent design. I think she's wanting to try and shoot a bunch of gotcha questions at me on the on codes, but I'm actually, as I told her, I'm happy to have just a general discussion on that topic. We've already had a debate on that specific topic, so let's address something new, and then from a debate perspective, and then we can have a a live stream discussion about the other if you want. But I'm not really interested in trying to turn this into a who said what type of deal. I prefer to have a more a little bit more interesting one-on-one conversation. It's kind of what I'm thinking, but we'll see what ends up happening. All of that. Now, if anybody wants to come on and share your thoughts about what you think is going to happen in the debate tonight, link to the live streams in the description. Feel free to come on in, share your thoughts, make your predictions, who you think is going to win, and if you think we'll have any doozies, who'll have the best one-liner. And then also as a kind of upcoming preview, Thursday night, I believe 8:30 Central, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, also over on SFT. Dr. Kent Hovind will be taking on Dr. Dan Cardinal. That should be a very interesting one because they will be directly debating micro versus macro evolution. So that should be a fun one. And I'll be doing an after show on Thursday night as well. And then on Friday over on Smokey Saints channel, there's going to be a amazing interview you will not want to miss. Dr. James Tour, yes, the one and only Dr. James Tour will be coming live to Smokey Saints channel, and they will be discussing abiogenesis from a chemistry perspective. He will be sharing some of his knowledge directly with us, the audience, about the question of abiogenesis, and we will be having the opportunity to listen directly to one of the 50 most influential chemists on this planet. Somebody who has been cited over 700 times and has over 130 patents. Quite quite the distinguished individual in the world of synthetic organic chemistry, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting to have the opportunity to listen to what he has to say, and hopefully, and I'm just going to make this prediction, put some of those extremely standard talking points that we hear ad nauseum from the atheist activists that, oh, we're just getting so close to understanding abiogenesis. We're getting so close to solving the problems. Well, perhaps he will be able to share with us why this is not just a or close to being solved problem. Why actually they're getting further and further away from the solution, not closer and closer to it. Especially as we discover the additional layers of complexity that we did not know in the not so distant past. And to put that in kind of a context, really in the last 20 years, we've discovered so many different facets of biology, genetics, and things that for a century prior, and really since the Watson and Crick time of discovering the double helix up until relatively recently, things were just dismissed so casually. Oh, there's no way this has any bearing. This is worthless. This is pointless. Why do we even why are we even studying this aspect of genetics? It is nothing but a joke of junk. There is nothing of merit, nothing of value that can be worthwhile to spend time, money, effort, intelligence, human capital on discovering. And then yet, through complete and utter accident, almost, and in many cases, literally accidents, we've been able to discover all of these different components of biological systems that continue to blow the mind and also eviscerate the standard talking points of the central dogma that's been in place for so long. And now even the evolutionary biologists are attempting to do massive retreats and claim they never claimed the central dogma. That wasn't just, we didn't really think that was 100% accurate, even though there's, ridiculous amounts of instances in papers where, any arguments to the contrary were completely and utterly dismissed. Now they're trying to claim that they didn't actually make those blanket dismissals of anything else in genetics having a real value proposition that needed to be analyzed. Now they're doing a 100%, 180 pivot, and they're having to deal with, wait a minute, how the heck are we going to overcome this? It's, I took such a strong stance. I talk so much trash. What am I going to do? I'm just going to have to act like I never said it. It's interesting how that continues to come to the forefront. I know a lot of y'all are missing the good old Sal Cordova. I know I am. He's tied up. I talked to him the other day. He's heavily tied up in a research project and writing his papers. He's not gonna be able to come on and see us online for a while. However, one of the things he and I were able to talk about offline for just a moment was, some of the, how some of the pieces that were argued so heavily against by Dan Grauer against the ENCODE project back in 2012. Actually, from 2008 all the way up to now, really, Dan Grauer continues to argue very aggressively about the ENCODE project, how they didn't actually find anything. He went so far as to call the PhDs who were the 400, I think it was 452, something like that, 400 something PhDs from around the world worked on the ENCODE project. And him and like 3 or 4 other guys came out publicly and said they were nothing but a bunch of uninformed, uneducated technicians when they made their claims about, the biochemical function of the majority of the genome, and how they were just, completely out to lunch. And this I find interesting because so many of those things that even a decade ago were being argued to not have that much bearing on the overall point of view of the functionality of your genome, the more we continue to discover that is absolutely not the case. And an example I'm going to give you today about that. Just got to keep this in mind as you go throughout this week, as you listen to the standard talking points that are going to come out of Jackson Wheat's mouth tonight, on Thursday, when you listen to Dr. Dan Cardinal make a bunch of word salad arguments about the evidence for macroevolution that does not exist. Think about this for just a second. They have discovered 4 million on-off switches in your genome. 4 million, ladies and gentlemen. And now, as more and more medical research has been being done, the more they're realizing that if you turn many of these switches on and off, that we don't even know what they do. We don't know how they do it or which things they're actually controlling. We just know if we delete them, that there's massive, massive negative outcomes. They're also discovering that these same things that supposedly have no bearing are being now directly, not indirectly, directly correlated, ladies and gentlemen, with known diseases. So, hey, this part breaks. It doesn't have anything to do with quote unquote coding. However, if it breaks, then all of these other things break. I don't know what else to say about that, guys, other than direct cause and effect. You turn this off, then this doesn't work. I would say that there's a direct connection between the two and not an indirect one. And if that's the on-off switch, I would say that has some pretty significant bearing. Now, 4 million of them, folks. So let's think about this just for uno momento. Let's say of nucleotides. Let's say that is, 10. Let's say it's 10 per. So that's 40 million base pairs, folks. 40 million. If they just have 10 nucleotides. Obviously, those numbers are bigger than that, but let's say it's just that. Fascinating. I'm thinking that that number of functional genome is just sneaking. Now let's take this to another level. What else have they been discovering in this past decade? Well, you know how all of these portions of the supposedly redundant, non-functional, they don't do anything portions of the genome. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The more our technology and our ability to actually analyze and observe in real time rather than in culture, actions that are happening inside the different cell types that make up the human body. What have we discovered? Well, we have discovered, ladies and gentlemen, that different portions of the genome actually function in different cell types. So this portion of the genome only works in this cell type, and this portion of the genome only turns on in this type of cell. And then we got the histone code. So the histones literally compact and unravel the portions of the genome that are needed for that particular cell type. So I ask you, ponder that information for just a moment. How many times have we been told forcefully, with aggression and confidence, and how uninformed we are about the non-functional aspects of the genome, how all of these supposed non-coding regions have no bearing and are just evidence for evolution? Well, if now we are discovering they are absolutely active, you just have to be looking at the right moment in the right type of cell to be able to determine what its function is. I would readily argue that it will be in the not too distant future that the Dan Grauers, the Dan Cardinals, the Richard Dawkins, if he's still alive, if the Jackson Wheats, the R.J. Downards, the David Neffs, and Gutsick Gibbons, who make these strong arguments about how uninformed we are and how much we are believers in God of the gaps. Well, I would wager, ladies and gentlemen, that the day is not far away when they will be forced to concede, shall we say, that their arrogance has blinded them to the obvious, that the engineering facets of the nanomachines that enable us to exist, the proofreading functions of DNA transcription and translation are mind-blowing. Because I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, if a machine on the molecular level has the ability to proofread and to do error correction, but does not have programming to determine what is and what is not the correct transcription. How do you conclude that this does not require foreknowledge of the intended outcome? I've never been able to get around that one. You know, the foreknowledge requirement is just not something that you can circumvent with a straight face, in my opinion. I mean, getting around that is it's like saying the computer code that enables us to be having this dialogue at the moment is, or actually in this case, me having a monologue to you, could happen without the predetermined methods and components and protocols in order to translate the information with which I am broadcasting from my voice to my microphone through a Ethernet cable to the internet to your computer to be downloaded and retranscribed, translated and retranscribed back into audio for you to ingest. I don't think anyone would ever conclude that without foreknowledge, without a prescriptive intent, that those functions could ever come to be. Yet we are told aggressively that somehow things that make our systems look like they were made by children, somehow they can come into existence without the need for an intelligent agent. Now, enough of my little long-winded diatribe there. If anybody wants to come on the stream and share your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get your ideas and your take on what you think is going to happen tonight. And if you want to make any predictions about any upcoming one-liners. On Tangelo, Anthony, welcome to the stream. We're Eat Fine Living. What's up, Daniel? Oh, George. How's everybody doing? Got the all the regulars are coming in. Hope you guys are gonna be able to make it over to watch this debate tonight. Should be fun. Got a PhD in Dr. Kevin Anderson going up against the one and only Jackson Wheat. Now, for anybody who has just come into the stream, if you don't know what's going down tonight over on Standing for Truth, kicking off in about 35 minutes, so it's 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern, over on SFT. That debate will be kicking off, and I've got a link in the description directly over to that live stream, and then we'll be doing a after show. So as soon as the stream or the debate gets over, wait about 5 minutes, and then let everybody bounce over to back over to here to my channel, and we'll kick off the after show. I've also got a link to the after show is in the description to this video if you want to go over and set yourself up a notification. Christian Peasant, welcome to the stream. Rational Phobia, how you doing? Appreciate you making it in. Been having some fun today. I've actually had the opportunity today to read about 15 different papers on a couple different subjects, and oh man, the one and only Smoky Saint has entered the building. And let's see what you say. Anthony Murray's, remember, it's speed of pudding from now on. You know, it's interesting. For those of you who don't know what's going on, I think that Smoky Saint has managed to redirect the he who shall not be named, also known as Lord Voldemort, also known as Speed of Pudding. He's redirected his aggression from me to himself. So it's kind of funny. You know, there was mad, trash talking going on towards me, and then Smokey and Anthony, actually have to blame credit Anthony for this too. They had a live stream, which is worthwhile to go and watch over on Smokey's channel, where they discussed abiogenesis. And let's just say things that were mentioned, such as, do you know what pudding is? Were those were put forth as things to consider. Do you know what pudding is in relation to abiogenesis? And let's just say from there, things may have descended into a bit of a, as Smokey also likes to say, it turned into a dumpster fire. And, as Smokey attempted to unpack that, it kind of, they went into a black hole, let's just say. And now it has transitioned into, Lord Voldemort used to do, streams pretty much every day, every other day, directed towards me. And I think now he's directing them towards Smokey. So, Smokey, thank you so much for triggering Speed of Pudding, also known as Lord Voldemort, to go focus on you instead of me. That's very much appreciated. And Smokey, I don't know if you were in earlier when I was talking about this, but I was letting everybody know about your very awesome upcoming interview with Dr. James Tour. That is this Friday afternoon, and I believe 4 p.m. is when that will be going down over on Smokey Saint's channel. I'll be doing an after show for that, but make sure you go to Smokey's channel. And Smokey, if you want to post a link in chat, that might be a good idea. Tell people to bounce over there and set a notification for that one, because that's going to be at 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. This Friday, the 24th, Dr. James Tour and Smokey, Anthony, and Dr. Tour will be discussing some of the different aspects from a chemistry perspective of abiogenesis and why the atheists are not anywhere close to the positions that they claim they are in. I mean, remember, the operative word is they claim they are in. And it's pretty funny how when they get called on the carpet by somebody like Dr. Tour, who they can't counter him with bovine scatology word salad and be like, oh, well, we found a blah, 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 blah. And this compartmentalized XYZ. And he's like, oh, yeah, really? Did you do XYZ? No, we failed. Oh, no, we failed. Oh, no, that didn't happen either. Oh, no, that's just hypothesis. Oh, well, if we could do that then. But then they get called out again and again. And finally they concede. Well, actually, it turns out I'm not even working on that step. I'm 17 layers behind that and not even remotely close to doing a realistic abiogenesis experiment. But then they publicly, to the reporters and in their books and in their lectures and in their interviews, when they're not being called on the carpet, they present to the little atheists who are running around desperate for evidence in favor of their positions. They dangle these little carrots and make them think they're so close. So close. And Jazz Josh, man, thanks for joining us. He says, hey, nice to be here. UK ID proponent. Just getting plugged back into the ID evolution debate and enjoying this channel. Interested in writing and debating. Cheers. Well, thanks, Josh. Appreciate that. Hey, you're welcome to come on the show, man. If you want to come on and talk about pretty much anything. Hang on. What's Smokey saying here? The link in your description is bunk like naturalism. What are you talking about? Now I gotta check this out. See what's going down. All right, hang on. Smokey, which link are you talking about, man? Oh man, look who's entered the live stream. My link doesn't go to which stream. Smokey. Let me see here. Okay, someone's going to the after show. Link to debate. Let's see where that one's going. Okay. All right, hang on, folks. I'm trying to figure out which link Smokey is talking about here. Link to live. You talking about the link to the live stream? Well, try to figure that out later. It's okay. It's not going to the current stream. Okay, let me. Huh, that's weird. I copied and pasted it. Okay, well, let's see. Let me copy and paste again, and I'll post it in live chat here right now. 1 second. All right. That should be the correct link to the stream, to this stream. Anybody wants to bounce in, you are welcome. Come on in and join the conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in. I think it'll be I personally think this is going to be a good one. When you really think about some of the fundamentals of what enables life to exist, I find it very interesting how the evolutionists only want to argue the micro. Oh, here we go. Here comes Smokey Saint. And entering the building is now the one and only Smokey Saint, also known as Icky Taint. New opponent of the one and only Raging Atheist. Thanks for joining us, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. How are you?
Man, just having some fun, talking a little trash,
Yeah,
enjoying
I could see that.
enjoying myself,
You seem to like talking to yourself there for. Oh, hold on. Let me switch the audio because I got something crazy happening here. Okay, sorry. That's gonna be better. I had it going through the TV. Sorry about that.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's better now. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. No, I saw you posted the bum link. I tried to join a few minutes after you started, but it was the wrong link. I'm like, oh, well, he just must love talking to himself, so he's just gonna sit there and conflate his ego a little bit. And I was just gonna let there.
Well, I was having my ego crushed by every second because nobody was coming on to join me. And I'm like, man, I guess I'm just gonna keep running my mouth, or At the same time, though, because nobody wanted to join, I thought maybe I'm just being so eloquent tonight that people don't want to interrupt me because they're just like, this is historic. This is a historic moment right now, and don't want to damage it. Oh, what's up? And we also got Antangelo joining us from Brazil. How you doing, brother?
Fine, thanks. How are you guys? Hi, Smokey.
Doing well. Welcome, sir. How are you tonight?
Thank you. Fine.
Beautiful. Yeah, I had to come in and talk to logical, plausible, probable. I guess there's a debate happening here very shortly in about 24 minutes or something.
Yes. So Dr. Kevin Anderson, he's a geneticist, PhD. He will be taking on the one and only Jackson Wheat.
Beautiful.
And I believe we'll be talking about the aspects of humans and just from an evolutionary perspective.
Are you doing an after show after too, or just is this kind of the thing?
No, also I'm doing after show too. After show I already had planned, and then I was sitting around and decided on the spur of the moment, you know what? We need to have a pre-game show and get things pumped up a little bit, get people going.
Sweet.
And hopefully, well, part of the thing is too, we had such great success with our 300 sub watch parties that, and the way we kind of did that funnel, right? Like starting your channel came to mind, went over to SFT. Yeah. I was like, man, I should do that. I should do that tonight. Do a little pregame show.
Totally.
And tell everybody, hey, now let's head over and watch the live stream on Standing for Truth. So everybody, again, anybody who's just joined, the link, even though the link to the live stream is not correct, I checked the link over to both the after show and to the debate are both correct. So make sure you go set notifications for both of those. Live stream kicks off here in 23 minutes. And oh man, we got Daniel's joining us too. What's up, Daniel? How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Rocking and rolling. How's everybody been doing so far this week?
Hanging in there. What's the topic of the debate?
The topic is crap. I'm having a complete brain fart on the exact title. Give me 1 second. It's evolution and humans ancestry. I think it is. Let me see. It is. Is universal common descent evidence? That's what it is.
No.
Yes. Oh man, it looks like we got 8. There's a bunch of people over there waiting. So this one should be jumping. By the time all of us head on over there, it should be a hot live stream and a side chat going down over there. Oh, Tangelo, how you doing today, man? You appreciate you joining us for all this.
Yes, thanks. You can check. I did send you a link on what I am working right now, and it is, I think, a line of evidence which has not been explored before, and it is about the carbon fixation, which is fundamental for all life forms, and there are actually 6 different carbon fixation pathways used in life in prokaryotes, and they are extremely different one from each other, and there is no way to have common ancestry from one to the other pathways, and the enzymes used in each pathway are completely different. And this is an amazing evidence that common ancestry is not true. And there is something else. The bacteria, they work in a joint venture to have the energy cycles working. The energy cycles, they need to work all together right from the start. Like the nitrogen cycle is fundamental because fixed nitrogen in the form of ammonia is the basic atom for DNA, for amino acids, for the basic building blocks of life. So that's absolutely essential for having life first go. So today I did track down all the enzymes used in the 6 cycles, and they're all different. The cycles are different. There are papers that try to make a tree to source to the first, which is the Wood Ljungdahl. That's the easiest, the smallest, and they claim it's the first pathway. But if you check to go from that one to the other pathways, the enzymes are different, and there are a huge number of different enzymes used. So it doesn't work. The common ancestry on these pathways that doesn't work.
Well, it's interesting. We have Smokey. So, by the way, Smokey is generously, she's sharing his screen for everybody in the audience and kind of scrolling through on Tangelo's website. And I just posted a link in the chat if you want to go over to his site, where he's got a ton of very detailed arguments, complete with links to papers, and he's done a fantastic job really summarizing a lot of the more complex components into understandable, palpable, manageable components for the average person to go and start to gain that general understanding. But it's kind of funny. We have people like Lord Voldemort, also known as Speed of Pudding, in the chat right now, saying things like, "That surprises you that there are different pathways?" Well, no, of course it doesn't surprise us there's pathways. It's the number of fundamental variables that have to be constructed in the appropriate context, construct, and timeline in order for the function to execute. I mean, this is pretty basic common sense when it comes to any facet of engineering. And I'm gonna have to unpack that, Smokey. it really continues to fascinate me. The level of conscious suspension of rational thought that the ANOGS condition is causing in atheists. Now, for those of you who are unaware of ANOGS, this is a new condition that I've been categorizing, and I'm creating a presentation on. They'll be coming out in the next couple of days. And but ANOGS is the atheist naturalism of the gaps syndrome. And there's a variety of negative outcomes when it comes to, common sense. It's very, very detrimental to common sense. And it's often is kind of a subset condition of the atheist fantasyland projection complex. Okay, so part of ANOGS is showcased in AFLAC because once they have suspended that, the first symptom of the AFLPC is to suspend critical thinking skills, and then once that has happened, then you are very, very susceptible to the ANOGS syndrome kicking in, and then it's just complete downward spiral from there. Now, I'm assuming that the ID people recognize the humor with which I am presenting this, but judging from the comments that I've been getting on some of my other videos from the atheists, I don't think they picked up on the humor at all in any of the aspects of this. But I'm assuming, and I'm going to shut up for a second, I'm assuming you guys understand where I'm coming from on this.
Yeah. I'm glad all these things evolved right on time. Look at that. All those pathways.
You need to have all this before life began.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here.
Just happened. No problem.
Sorry, Aunt Angela, I interrupted you. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, they claim that the Wood-Ljungdahl pathway is the first that supposedly emerged on a prebiotic Earth. Now, the funny thing is that pathway already requires 9 enzymes working in a joint venture together. So how do you get these proteins and lined up in the right sequence to fix carbon prebiotically?
You have to have a special pudding environment, and then it is possible in a compartmentalized fashion of a microenvironment that with the appropriate cycling of the sun turning on and off through day and night, and then ice ages coming through, it's now possible. It's now possible.
And clay. Lots of clay.
I do think it's funny how Speed of Pudding was trying to accuse us of saying the world was pudding, and then he was talking about microenvironments of pudding. I think that just the irony is just hilarious.
Well, the part that's so ironic about that is, number one, I get where he was going with the stupid pudding analogy. The fact that he thinks that Tony and myself and you are too stupid to understand what the point he was making is just like, dude, you're acting like I've got the IQ of Forrest Gump. I've got it, bro. Like, I understand the stupid point you're trying to make.
It's like
the irony, but here's the ultimate irony of that. It's like, okay, you can go and and folks, if you don't believe me on this, go Google it. Okay. When it comes to the improbabilities of all this stuff that are recognized,
John, give a quick stop. Give a quick stop here, John. That is the supposed tree to the 6 pathways. Now you can see that in yellow, all the round symbol is a lost reaction. They claim they don't know the reaction. That's all gaps. That's all gaps. So they don't know how to form that tree. They say, oh, that's a lost reaction, but it must be like this anyway.
We have no idea how that chemical reaction actually happened, but it did because we live. I mean, that's what abiogenesis for them boils down to. If you believe in abiogenesis, you are ultimately forced to conclude that we exist, therefore abiogenesis occurred. I mean, that's what it boils down to. There's no way around. There's no way around. And what gets me more than anything is they now admit freely that yes, it would require all of these bazillion steps to happen perfectly in order for this to be remotely plausible. So, like, okay, so you're telling me that you have to have literally millions of things all happen in the correct order. And if you fail along the way, you have to start over. Yeah. Okay. I don't believe you. That is, you're living in a fantasy land. Now, back to Lord Voldemort, the about pudding. So, what's so funny about that to me is, and the whole little microenvironment thing they're trying to claim can solve this problem. If you actually go and read the things on explaining the improbabilities, they argue that yes, there wouldn't normally be enough actions to account for the improbabilities. However, this was happening across the entire surface of the planet. Therefore, there's way more simultaneous occurrences happening that can account for this. And it's like, but on the flip side, you're having to claim that the only way it could happen is if it was in this like little microenvironment that could account for the variables that have to be in place for the actions to actually occur. So which one is it, folks? You can't have both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you have a limited environment where it's remotely plausible per your own arguments, or to account for the improbabilities, you have to have it happening everywhere at the same time. Which one is it?
I'd go with aliens if I was an atheist. It's impossible. Come on.
It's what's Smokey scrolling through right now, Tangelo? Can you describe that to us?
That are the different carbon cycles. And what is interesting is that you can see that the enzymes which are listed on each cycle, they are different enzymes. That's the same thing as to say we go from a bicycle to a Harley-Davidson motorbike by evolution, where you have completely different parts. How do you evolve that? It's not possible because it's just different. So there is no evolutionary trajectory from the first cycle to the other ones because they don't use the same parts. They use different enzymes. So that's another example of evolutionary storytelling.
Well, as I love to say, the evolutionary biologists are not actually scientists. They are science fiction writers, and they get paid to make things up. And it's a really good gig, and I really understand why they're so adamant about defending it. I mean, I would too. If I got paid to not actually have to be discovering anything that actually has a remote plausibility, sweet. That's a deal right there, baby. What's up, man? Most of Hollywood is begging for that.
Skip this and just put a line from one animal to another animal, and you're good.
Yep. I'm almost considering, because Lord Voldemort is talking so much trash right now, I'm almost considering letting him come on because, he claims that I need to paraphrase the argument for him. Well, I don't know what his argument is at this point. If what I said is not the correct point that he was making, then come on and explain it to me. Pudding. Explain how what I said is incorrect about your position. I'll put the link in the. There's 9 minutes before this is over. If you want to come on and talk some more of your trash, see if you can back it up. Pudding.
You got to give him leeway. He denies his own free will, so it's not his fault. It's his chemistry.
Oh, hey, Antangelo, by the way, brother, I have been greatly enjoying that resource of finding all those papers. Man, it's been great. I've been enjoying that immensely. Finally getting access to a bunch of papers I didn't think I was going to be able to read. It's been great. Let's see here. See if we can get this link back in here.
Did you watch the discussion with JJ?
You're talking about Dan and Jungle Jargon?
Yeah. Did you see that that endosymbiosis example he gave?
I did not. I didn't get to see the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Can you give us an overview on that?
There's like a prokaryote ate some algae, and they call it a new species. That's what I got out of it.
Oh, you're talking about them? You're talking about the colonization of the bacteria, and they claim it turned it into a multicellular organism.
Not well. They claim it's endosymbiosis. You have to see it. I'm not familiar with it, but I'm gonna have to look it up because.
Well, the endosymbiotic theory claims that a bacterium was engulfed in another cell, and then it formed a eukaryotic cell. But this is also storytelling. It was first proposed by Lynn Margulis, but there are many problems. One is that the eukaryotic cells are 1,000 times bigger than bacteria, and they are compartmentalized. So they have internal cell walls, and they have the nucleus, and they have the nucleolus, and they have transport mechanisms from the cytosol to the nucleus. And all this wasn't extant and isn't extant in bacteria. So how do you evolve all this? I have a link on that too. I can put it here so you guys can have a look. But that's also evolutionary storytelling. That doesn't work for many reasons.
He was claiming a real-time example. So,
well, something I find very interesting about that is, the whole aspect of the mitochondria, and supposedly that's what happened billions of years ago. I'm like, what other bacteria can operate on 37 genes? Like, they just operate from the assumption that must be what it was, versus it was created in that fashion. And I don't know. And Lord Voldemort, we got 6 minutes. I've put the link to the stream in the chat. It's coming again. I don't want to hear any more trash talking from you if you don't come on in after you've been begging for this. Oh, okay. Now he wants to just do a one-on-one with some time. Okay. So you've been talking trash, demanding. Okay. I guess you're back to he who shall not be named. Made the offer. Doors open. Doors closed.
Keyboard warrior.
You're going to have a challenge. You're going to have a challenge finding a moderator now. I don't think Speed would trust me to moderate another conversation.
John, I've just linked to the paper on the work on my library about the endosymbiotic.
Got it. I'll post that here.
So you can post it in.
Hey, Speed, would you trust us?
Here we go. Oh, hey, he's entering. He is entering the arena.
All right. His chemistry reacted in a good way, I guess.
What's up, Speed?
Hey.
So
hold on a minute. Something's up. Damn.
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Problem. Okay, now I'm on. Anyway, John, let's talk about let's have a conversation either on my channel or your channel, just one-on-one, just you and I, calm, just a conversation, and we'll get some drawing tools out and we'll lay it out.
Now, the as I've told you, if in those kinds of interactions, that kind of, you want to talk mad trash and show me how dumb I am, you can go ahead and do a recorded video and make your argument and tell me how it is, and then I can respond. You
misunderstand our debate. I was doing that to you during that debate because you had done it to so many other people, and I was just firing back.
But I had done 3 debates total at that point.
We can raise the bar a little bit. So
I done 3 debates total. Okay. Yeah, you're a charlatan.
Debater, right?
You're a charlatan. So go ahead and make your
dude, goodbye.
If debate is not your thing, that's fine. Make your argument in a recording, edit it, do it 50 times. I don't care. Post it.
I'm working on one on miRNA.
Post it, and then I will respond.
Hey, I'm working on one for miRNA just for you, and we will do it one thing at a time. If that's the way you want to do it, fine. I think we could have a nice talk, and kind of like bring this bring this up a level or two from calling me picking on the fact that I was a meth addict, or that
Oh, you want off the smoke list?
I
like
don't.
the-
I don't think
I
I
like
did
the
that.
putting shit. Smoking, no, I like being on a smoke list. Thank you very much for putting me there. Anyway, guys,
I don't think I was the one that talked
You belong,
about
my friend.
debate is on, so we should go watch it. But John, I invite you to have conversations. I have conversations with Sel very often, and they're very, very good and peaceful and friendly, and we like each other. So I don't.
Well, that's because you haven't been a complete asshole to Sal.
Oh, and you haven't been a complete asshole to Dr. Dan Carnell?
Yeah. Oh, is he feeling a little butthurt?
No, he isn't, but we are. Everybody who watches it, Dan. Dan seems to
because I call him out for calling him out for dodging.
Oh my god!
Because I call him out for dodging.
Look,
yeah.
John, do you really think you know more about genetics than he does?
Yeah.
In terms of minutia, probably not. In terms of macro concept, that he seems either there's only two outcomes with Dan. Either one, he is only knowledgeable on very hyper specific arenas and has just general knowledge in others, or he does understand the big picture implications of the arguments that I've made and that he dodges and refuses to address them because he knows how much they eviscerate his foundational talking points, just like they eviscerate your foundational talking points and Erica's and RJ Downard's and every single other person who makes them, and refuse.
Yeah, here's the deal, Speed. Just
to actually accept the implications.
Like 99 or a couple 100,000 evolutionary biologists out there, you're smarter than all of them, and you get the right answer.
That's not really the argument.
Did I ever question their IQ? Did I ever question their IQ?
I'm not talking about.
No.
I mean education. Okay. I mean, you are more.
You
educated
literally
than
just said I was
all of
questioning
them.
their intelligence.
Okay, can I just interject with something? Real
No,
quick?
hang on, Smokey, 1 second. So back to speed of pudding. Are you suggesting that unless you have a PhD, you cannot have understanding and knowledge and make a rational determination and conclusion about looking at the exact same information as somebody else? Is that your position?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Okay, then your argument is dumb. Go ahead, Smokey.
No.
Okay, yeah, Speed. I'm just kind of wondering here, like where you're kind of getting this perspective of like this idea that we have to be so thoroughly, knowledgeable on all these things. We're not criticizing Dan's knowledge of science. We're criticizing his application of philosophy of his knowledge of science. And by the way, on my stream, I don't know if you caught it, Dan himself admits he's not great at philosophy. He dropped out of the philosophy club in college. In fact, he was asked to not return. Okay, part of all of this has to do with what scientists are applying to their scientific data. Is it religion or is it science? And we think a lot of it today is shaping up to be more like religion. This is what you're not getting. We're not criticizing the science.
No, that's how you.
Sir, we're criticizing the philosophy that is leading to the conclusions from the science.
Right, because
okay?
you see it as a debate about Christianity, and scientists do not.
No, I see it as a debate about rational philosophy inside the scientific community that's being used in order to push naturalistic worldviews and adherencies. That's
Smokey, a little humility with philosophers too. There are a lot of philosophers out there that do not agree with you.
Sure.
Unreasonable.
Point them out. Give me a reference for once.
Churchlands, I don't know, Daniel Dennett.
So Voldemort, is it
Carl
your
Sanders Peirce?
So is it your position that it is impossible to reach the conclusion that an intelligent agent is required first, then conclude that a God exists?
I'm not okay. I unpack that for me.
Okay, so you have many times, just like you did 30 seconds ago, made the assertion this is all about defending Christianity. I don't know how many times I have made the argument over and over and over again that I reached the conclusion that God exists based on looking at the evidence for how we can exist, then concluding that theism must be true, then looking at which religion I view is the correct one. Yeah, so you completely reversed the deduction and argue that it's like, okay, so Are you saying that nobody else can make that deduction? Because I would wager that there are, and I could probably find a whole boatload of them, people who came to that followed that exact path. Are you saying that is not possible?
No, it is impossible. You can't make that deduction. You know who Yaki? I think it's Yaki. Is he the one that wrote the book?
Wow.
Basically, no. You cannot prove. intelligence
Is philosophy judged by consensus speed?
No.
Okay,
But
good. So
Yaki does it with mathematics.
why don't you point me
Smokey.
to an argument instead of a person? Because you told me you don't like arguments from authority. So how about you show you actually understand one of their arguments, bring it to me, and I'll help you dissect it. Until then, it's just word noise.
That's another project working on.
He
He mathematically proved it's impossible.
Okay, so are you suggesting that nobody can possibly come to the conclusion that a God exists unless they have previous knowledge of a religion?
Unless they have previous knowledge of a religion.
Because I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you just said. I'm just waiting to clarify, be direct.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You couldn't prove it. I mean, you can't completely justify.
Okay, so the first human who came to the conclusion that there was a God, did they have a pre-existing religion? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, then how did they have to have a pre-existing religion in order to conclude that there was a God?
I never said they had to have a pre-existing religion. I said
okay, hang on.
can't
Everybody, did I not
conclude
just ask him that
logically.
direct question about
2 seconds ago, you just
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was clear. Did anybody that's listening not understand the question I just asked?
Then I did. I misunderstood the question, if that's what you asked. No, the first person that started believing in God, I don't think it quite happened that way, but you couldn't single out a first person. But anyway, you can't logically.
Okay, at some
you can't
point, did there,
logically prove intelligence.
Smokey, per your own evolutionary model, at some point, did some human decide that there was a God?
Mine?
Sorry, I had a Freudian slip. Lord Voldemort.
I was like, wait,
Lord
what are you
Voldemort.
asking?
At some point in history, did a human come to the conclusion there was a God?
What are you arguing here? For you, that would be Adam, right?
Speed,
I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for you.
did you say intelligent design is an illogical inference? Is that what you just said?
I said it's impossible to prove it with logic.
To prove it?
And probably with science, given the limitations of our resources, ever. I got a book. I'll bring it to you. He makes.
So
Did
you're
the
admitting
first-
you couldn't possibly believe. You're admitting even if it did exist, you
Oh,
couldn't
okay. Hey,
possibly
everybody.
believe it.
It's time for us to bounce over to SFT. The debate is kicking off. Everybody, if you want to join the live stream for the after show, link in the description. I'll also post a link over in the debate. Head on over to SFT for Anderson versus Jackson Wheat. Should be a good one. Have fun, y'all, and I look forward to interacting with everybody later on tonight. Have a
Hey,
good one.
John, thanks for the talk.
No problem.